Pambulem, I bring warm greetings, seasoned greetings to every one of Una from the then and now media empire. And this evening, this afternoon, wherever you may be, understand the two of the guests that we're on the platform right now, they are from back home na Sierra Leone. One of them, they speak to me right at the heart of the city itself, Freetown, and the other, they somewhere in the hinterland, Moyamba for be exact, and Usai, he managed for stream live for feed into the live feed where they bring Cantona tonight. However, I want to say season greetings to everybody, and this is not the end of the year program. We started the year on a high note, and we intend for end the year on a high note. And what better way for end them with powerful guests them, such as Femi Claudius Cole, Dr. Jonathan Sandy, and one or two we get for join we later, but and they join we go introduce them. There are many things we happen at the Republic over the last 12 months. Obviously, the year is made up of 12 months. And every day we will sleep and grab, politically speaking, socially speaking, economically speaking, there is so much happening in the country that we're not even able for catch up. But today, we want to see whether we're able for round up and family and forgive you because we're not able to talk about everything. But we go zoom in on the most important things that will happen during the course of the last 12 months, 2021. As we're about to say goodbye to Ram. And we get two fine people then, now with political map, we go help we for round up this very beautiful program, 2021, in retrospect. Many things happen. So again, once more, family, then we get Femi Claudius Cole and we get Dr. Jonathan Sandy. And let's just go straight. And we'll try for round up this program in 1 hour because if we say we want to talk no more, talk you in order to do a boku because when Femi begin for explain just now, all waiting not happen. We need to come on and add just now. Anyway, having said this, I want to go straight to, of course, we get this story them we want to capitalize on, but we want to give we panelists and chance for see which story will capture their mind so much. And when I say so, I not just one because now the year in retrospect will they reflect. So not to for just come forward for can talk about FY 2020, the audit report, issues that will happen around the municipality of Freetown involving the mayor. Obokubokuti from the beginning of the year, decentralization, we're very key to the same people that I want to talk to. So Femi, I'll just begin with you. What's in the story where capture your mind, this 2021 on top of your mind? I know there are many, but like I say, they begin from the year and come to USA with this. So what in capture your mind?
Wow.
You don't mute yourself. Okay, yeah, you're back. Yeah.
I'm back. So yeah. How can one choose? I mean, story then they were left me virtually speechless. And story then they were left me angry. Story then they were make I feel for boss cry for the country. Now, I don't know who say I for begin, but then Boku, but I pick one way I for say left me speechless.
Yep.
And let we left the whole, the audit, as you say, let we left them one and day. I want for zoom right into the first family. And one thing where actually, actually speechless, was watching the first family on the steps of State House having their marital beefing, left me speechless. I'm like, I was shocked. The place, the moment, the event. I am like, so who sets the example here? Who is going to set the brightest example? Me, that was the lowest point where my expectations went far below and went even further down that I could ever have imagined. that for me was one moment that left me speechless, I can say quite honestly.
Absolutely. And I believe a lot of people share that same sentiment today, because that was a turning point. Now, there have been many turning points, and I absolutely agree with you. And like I say, and Fambul and those of whom I will not catch up with in Femi, they say, is the point who this thing play out right in a state house. Usai, the president, the leader, the first gentleman of the country, the fountain of honor, in speech before the presidential podium with the badge, the signal of the presidency. And it seemed like it became very personal between the first gentleman and the first lady, in which the president, you say, we are no waiting to go on, but we no need for the wash with dirty linen in a public. And then when the first lady in your own turn come, it seemed to be a challenging moment in which a point finger in that public moment, that very critical and crucial time, and say, I know say you not like me, but me not the first lady. Goodness and mercy. I agree with you, Femi. That's not the most turning point, and a case where historians then will talk for a long time to come. Dr. Sandy, good evening, sir, and welcome to the Then and Now platform. So excited for get you. Same question to you, sir. So many things happened over the course of the last 12 months. We already did at the last 24 hours of this particular year. For you, waiting capture your mind so much, despite all of them story there, we break in the country.
Thank you so much, Prince, my dear brother. And again, let me take this opportunity for tell my dear sister, the chair and leader of the Unity Party, we also double in as we chair for the consortium of progressive parties, for which the NURP, my party, the National Unity and Reconciliation Party, they got across, now part of in terms of its conceptualization and also don't go. Now, I also want to take the opportunity for thank to Fambul them, both home and abroad, for we God don't bring we can so far or towards the end of the year with so much resilience we don't express amidst the number of challenges that we don't get both globally and at home, especially the COVID-19 environment. I particularly admire people like you, Prince, and all those where they engage into virtual means for ensure that democracy and good governance prevail in our country. In the midst of all the challenges when they go to, when they still keep an eye on waiting to happen back home, so that we all, in a world of civilization and globalization, we people then go feel better. So I'm very impressed as we go. Now, in terms of 2021, I remember 2020, I think Nani, WatchNet, 2020 WatchNet, me and Femi, the Minister of Information, and one or two other people then be invited now, AYV, and we gave a very solid analysis of how we see 2020. So this year, it is no surprise that Yusuf Don come with a similar, which means that what we are trying to say now for build on what we do 2020 and now to this. In terms of really waiting, me personally and the party they reflect on, one, from the positive side, there are a few things that we need for thank to country and the people. One is the health sector. The global health crisis, COVID-19, are very pleased that the way the NACOVAT and the system operate, learning from the structures and institutions and processes where Tijan Kaba and many of us be left behind through the national security architecture. At one point, how they respond to global health crises, how they respond to threats to human security, for shift the goalpost and form structures and processes such as NACOVAT. It only help greatly for reduce the threat of global health crisis to the people there. But apart from that structure, then I also see that the lessons we will learn from Ebola, with people that so much express restraint, they so much adhere to some of the protocols and the rules and regulations we for those nowadays. So the number of incident cases and number of deaths, then yes, we do receive number, but at least we're happy that as serious as we other countries can be. So that could be. The second positive thing for me now, the sport. Say I don't qualify for, after 20-something years, we qualify for the football match for go AFCON. In family says they don't secure me ticket. I hope I will be at the AFCON in Cameroon to support, just like last year, I will support Senegal and Egypt. I'm in the last AFCON. So I hopefully go see Leon Stars. These are national interests. It's beyond parties and politics. If the boys have done their best, we should also give them that tap on the back. Third point, the Auditor General stood out. I must congratulate my classmates, my schoolmates, my university mates, Lara Taylor Prayers from college. We know these are your generation. We say when a generational democracy people. She stood for the principles and the values for which, in solidarity, together with waiting, we always say that them principle and they. I give Claudius, I give the Auditor General's Department or Authority quite a semblance. They have standing for transparency and accountability for public financial management. Lastly, I also want to take this opportunity to say what impressed me in terms of a positive thing, now the emergence of COPE, the Consortium of Progressive Political Parties. That's a positive sign where political parties in opposition, both outside parliament, those of us political parties outside parliament, and then opposition parties in parliament come together, which is a unique platform for saying we they collectively amplify we voices to certain things the way we feel say government they do, or way we ministries, department, or agency they do, so that we go up more than day. Because usually people then call left democratic governance to just political parties in parliament, but we don't see how we parliament function, where in fact 10 more people then be more or less disenfranchised them through the electoral court, which was not happy. But the fact that unlike in those days where they get opposition parties, then really, where they not go parliament, they're not in the executive branch of government, then lie low. I very well forgive kudos to my dear sister, Femi Claudius, Dr. Dennis Bright, and many of the leaders there, including Kamo Kaba and others who have stood the test of time, that yes, irrespective of anything, we want to see how we can contribute to promote what we call political pluralism and democratic consolidation. So now tap the first. Now then positive thing, then they see on the bad side, I know say as they go, obviously the bad side then go can later to the move side. But I just want for end say, yes, all is not lost. The human rights violation, of course, with impunity, that one, and then we will talk about that more, and many other issues. But I want just to say thank you to Sierra Leoneans, both at home and abroad, for staying fast so that our democracy not go fall in terms of multi-party democracy. So thank you once more, Prince.
Yes, Dr. Sandy, many thanks for that. And I be want to move on straight to Femi Claudius Cole, but I go stick with you because I want to let that flow they continue. But what a summary, it's like a summation of the entire year. And many thanks for that. But I'll just go straight to the point, and which is I want to begin with you again, Dr. Sandy, on the basis of upper stroke neck. Say you're a big man in many respects, and you represent upper as the chairperson, as the chairperson, okay, that's Babadi coming in, as the chairperson, for upper. And I want to look at the relationship from your point of view with NEC. In many respects, in terms of constitutional review, from the political pluralism where you talk about and waiting at the role of APA in that sense, and the relationship generally with NEC, and waiting we see over the year between the two institutions there. If you can just summarize again back for we, if you understand what I mean, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. Now make me the issue of our APA and NEC. The All Political Party Association, as you are aware, one 10 days way, Dr. Dennis Bright and Madam Femi Abede Sudan, I sent text within 1921. My view was, and I sent on to Mr. Secretary General, I said, tell Madam Femi and tell Dr. Bright or anyone who member them, whether invite them for go, then get upper people then sit down there. They're not for They're not for mixed APA and COPE business. These are two different entities. They're not, they compete. Now, deliberate act, I assure the current government they do for them provide deception theory, use APA as a front for the constructive engagement the way colleagues then they do, especially through COPE. These are two different conceptually or legal arrangements there. Because any country where we all don't work, where we serve the work, COPE, now a day now we Political Parties Act Section 18 say political parties then can then get rights for either merge, then form within a merger, or then form coalition. It they clearly not that. So if certain political parties then agree, say, then come together, then form COPE, it's their democratic and legal right. Constitutional and Political Parties Act provide for that. You don't mean to say now for elections, but they have come together to constructively oppose to things within APA. So for can't discover with APA thing, we're not for the sit up with APA. That's number one point. Because APA, the reason why they say that, net and left, there is still unresolved matter with APA. As you are aware, as I talk to you, so Prince and colleagues, I get the verdict of the court case where we put injunction on APA, where they elect we on the 18th, on the 3rd of October, 2018, 6 months after the election, where 14 parties then go elect we. And then the ruling party and few not be happy, say they elect we, and imagine Madam Femi Claudius went unopposed, I went unopposed, not we elect we self. People voted, and NEC9 supervised that. Now, then grabs it and they go do another election. They're not happy they elect 6 people, then PMDC, C4C, UP, NURP, and then UDM. Those were the elected officials then. Now, when we go court, we say, no, not for go do other court. But what to be smart for do is that we make sure, say, we ensure that as a non-for-profit association, we legally registered APA for function because we want open bank accounts, they want to make sure say if we want to go for police clearance, any other thing we go do. So now quickly I got my code. Like then our house to December 24, now we get a certificate as a non-associated, just like when you get new National Electoral Watch, when our consortium of civil society come together. Number 2, where you get / say, I know Association of Journalists, they all come together, then the Law Association. So we were advised by those bodies, say, yes, APA will begin institutionalize them. So we did that. So when and grab for go form another thing, now we say no. Through Pamomo Fofana, the legal petition, and I say no, I get right for going to court and put injunction. So we go quickly, Bamidele Thompson, PMDC, former chairman, we all go quickly. So we go to Pamomo, we file in, and then we succeed for put on March 23rd. Pam, 9 and go slam, then say, when I come on a Miata conference, so when I don't get right for put this in, from any other upper body when I get existing one. Now, then it took some time. Imagine we small, I do not they call we small party them. We were able to kick out APC, SLPP, NGC, C4C, all of them, we kick them out and put injunction. For me, in terms of democratic value, 30 days as I am very glad to say, under my leadership of APA, we're able to put an injunction where they say PPRX said they spend over 400 to 500 million for organize that convention. So the law was put there by Justice Miata Samba and the injunction served them, so they therefore banned them. But they went around again, we go courts several times. I get the verdict now. The court say, I can just 1 minute, a 3 points resolution and the court be issued. We say it is ordered as follows. 1, that the injunction granted against the defendant on the 22nd day of March 2019 is hereby rescinded. Number 2, that pursuant to section 34(4) of 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone, the Political Party Registration Commission is responsible for registration of political party and to make sure regulations are necessary for discharge of this responsibility. Number 4, that pursuant to section 5.6, the Political Parties Act number 3 of the Political Party Registration Commission is responsible for monitoring, supervision, and regulating of affairs of political parties, including parties which are members of APA. Then 4, each party shall bear his own cost. So meaning, we succeeded, you see the last one, we now bear, will not pay no fucking dime cent, We succeed for a put injunction. Now, what the court was simply saying, let PPRC go back and mediate, get political mediation among all the two parties and that. Now that the PPRC failed to do. So at the moment, you get two factions of APA. You get APA, which is legitimate by law. And from where I tell you, they even advise we say for go to Supreme Court, for go to a court of appeal. But we, as politicians, Femi and I have been presidential candidates. We want you to use APA for strengthening political pluralism and make sure we administrative and institutional capacities of political parties then functional. But unfortunately, that not happened. The ruling government did not accept this to happen. So instead of wasting time, then go ahead and then few parties, they exclude over 6 to 8 parties, they're out of 17, then go form a PPRC facilitate a fake APA, and then go form another executive, and that executive for on parallel to we own. But we think happen, we say, okay, if that is the case, APA is not functioning, we're able to provide a platform over interface with government. Because imagine February 2019, Prince, we get for mobilize myself all, including Secretary General of the Deputy Chairperson of APC, Pamansare, and then Payansanet, and all, we all go see His Excellency President Mada Bio for Louis talk about the functions of APA. And at that time, they were appoint one of the commissioners of NEC. So we had a very good time, and we promised say we go work constructively for the gear what we call constructive opinion advice note from political parties. Unfortunately, they let that down and did not work. So the role of APA, as I said, is still in a dilemma. And APA, in my view, the way they function is illegitimate. Now, crook APA, now unforeseen APA, they forced it in our throat. And now this political, what I call the worst part of this government is the political leadership style. The political leadership style of exclusion, division, not will take we forward. And that is what I want to make. If you go divide APA into two, you get the legitimate APA.
Dr. Sandy in the play up, but he said that much, and we understand a lot of things there. We understand a lot of things the way he said it. Just quick one to viewership around the world. Yeah, okay, you're back, sir. Yeah.
Yes. No, wait till the time for say. Now I just conclude. No more say this whole thing about the legitimacy. You know, what would they call it? Like now, student union politics. Now, would they play in our government here? We had Oradicas, gardeners, and this. Would they get front then? So what I know is that some of our men, I know they call them, then they use this APA as a front so that if they say the way it's mad and they go to the one and they observe election. Oh, this APA illegitimate. Oh, this APA legitimate. No, it is not. Because Madam Femi in party, my own party, PMDC, our Camberman party, ADP, many parties, they'll not be going at that convention. They say then go vote, without them vote. Me no one call name. But in nutshell, we believe, say, APA not to the issue now. We don't pass APA in your water size stone. We support a process by which we want for collectively amplify our voices, so put checks and balances. One of the fundamental functions of opposition political parties. Nothing wrong with that. And I strongly stand with my colleagues and I support whatever reforms we want for bring for make sure say the integrity in particular, the integrity of our electoral process. Because elections now two way, me and you, please, you know, they have conversation on this. For me, elections be free, fair, transparent, and accountable, especially free from political and election-related violence. Now the process, what they call the normative process, the step-by-step process, we can to the electoral laws, we can to something away for do with how you they elect or they appoint the commissioners, now the National Electoral Commission, how they appoint people in a PPRC, how they appoint the policeman, then the national security arrangement, what do they call integrated election security plan. So all that they do in a deliberate act without consultation, where they make sure say people that less trust in the process. Now that the greatest fear as they don't say, will 2022-23, will we see political attention increase and waiting at the implication for political stability, especially when the process by which the electoral credibility, integrity, they tamper with constantly, we are not happy.
Many thanks for that. That was a lengthy explanation, but very valuable for those of we listenership the world over. A complete outline, a broad outline of where we were, where we are, and where we expect, by political scientists, them, such as Dr. Jonathan Sandi, we just speak on the way forward. Femi, I bring the question, come back to you, but in a different way, because I sure say there is not much where you disagree with Dr. Sandi, but I will try to put the question in a different way. But before I do that, make I just welcome two of we other guests, then we just don't sign on. In person of civil society guy, activist, Babadi Thomas, and journalist, Mr. Karim Ba. If we can just establish something quickly, then we'll get for introduce themselves so fam will get for understand exactly who these people are, these two people, and this is not the first time on the Then and Now platform, and at a very critical time at the very end of the year. So, Babadi, if you can quickly introduce yourself 1 minute or so, and I will pass the mic on to Karim Ba. So instead, we'll introduce himself, and then we go to Sister Femi Claudius Cole, and then we come back to Una. So, Babadi, just a quick one, please. Babadi, I think you mute. Hello, Babadi. Okay, Babadi, you go get for mute yourself, because I believe saying that you bandwidth 9 they play up, so therefore you sound very, very poor because of the bandwidth, I suppose, your internet connection. Now go quickly to Karim while you try for adjust that. Mr. Karim, Mr. Ba, you there, Mr.?
Yes.
But I just welcome to the Then and Now for the very first time. I'm so happy, you forget a personality of your kind on the Then and Now. For the benefit of we listenership globally, locally, domestically, will you please introduce yourself, sir?
Thank you very much. Mr. Very happy for the platform. I don't follow some of your discussions, and I really like the standard of discussion, the level of debate we they try for our country. But that's what we need. We need for raise the level of discussion. We see so much course, politics without ideas. We not go carry go outside. Yeah. So in short, being Abdul Karim Ba, and I'm not going to introduce myself as a journalist because I not practice for a very long time. I would say me a social and economic justice activist, and also a communications consultant by day, So, but my heart and soul is about how we organize with society better, how we go organize we country so that we begin the way they come after we go meet a system, we meet a foundation where they go build on. And for me, at this moment now, we now get that foundation there, which is really disheartening. So I'm glad for the also, and it's with Madam Claudius Cole and Dr. Jonathan Sandi, sorry.
Yeah.
JPJ.
Yeah, JPJ.
And, all of you guys, yeah. Thank you very much. I'm glad for the help.
No worries at all. Many, many thanks for your kind sentiment, Mr. Ba. Baba, your line clear now? You want to introduce yourself? Let me hear you once more, please. Okay. Baba, this... Okay. Okay, Babadi, your line really poor, brother. Really, really poor. And the Sierra Leonean people really need for you tonight. But your line poor. We don't hear you at all. It's playing up. So I go left you again once more while she try for sort that out. But I believe say again for do with your internet connection, your bandwidth. now in, you're kind of poor, but let me see whether you're able to adjust them. At least we can get a word or two from you because we can understand the constraints. Sister Femi Claudius Cole, just based on waiting, Dr. Sandy just said, between upper and neck, something where you're deeply involved in as a politician yourself. But I say there's not much you could disagree with, if you disagree at all with what Dr. Sandy say. But I'll be one push on further on the same note and go to a constitutional side of the question where I asked Dr. Sandy, we get for do with section 35(1) of the constitution. We talk about the establishment of political parties, them the reasons why. Like I think the constitution spell out basically 3 reasons. So organizing the political party by the will of the people, and then political party, then contribution towards the social development and economic programs of themselves and their country, and then how for manage candidate nomination process and election process as a whole. But we see the conflagration between just the upper, like how Dr. Sandy say, you get one fake upper, and I just they using word a paraphrase per se, but obviously you get an upper way fake and an upper way real. Then contradictions there, it disturb a lot of things then when they happen in the country, so things then they go on straight. So based on what I just say and what Dr. Sandy say, how satisfied are you, Madam Cole, in terms of this with democratic pluralism? Are things happening as per your expectation, or then they fall short of your expectations?
Oh, then they fall severely short of your expectation. In terms of the upper thing, I think we've virtually put that to bed. That upper headed by Hoka it no longer enters into serious conversation as far as I'm concerned. I think the main focus now, the main thrust now is COP, basically. But in terms of the democratic space, I think we really have very serious issues concerning NEC. I think NEC is a big enough issue that can stand alone. We don't need to annex it to APA in any shape or form. And political parties, in trying to do what they are mandated to do, we're having a lot of issues as we relate with NEC that are reasons for concern. And as we speak today at the end of the year, we're looking at the NEC calendar. The moment we're done with our New Year's Eve celebrations and it's New Year's Day, we as COP are going to be engaging NEC in a big way, because that is basically campaign year. That is when everybody puts things in place for their political campaigns. And the question that does concern us is, what is NEC doing? You have this feeling that NEC is basically sitting on their hands right now, when we should be going into updating electoral register.
Hello, Elijah.
Registering,
yes, Elijah,
people who have not been.
Somebody need for mute them line. I think that.
Yes, how you feel now?
Karim, you need for mute your line, please.
Next one, I'll call you back.
Yeah, sorry about that, Femi. Go on, please.
So that's a huge concern. We had a 3-day conference with NEC where things were discussed, things were agreed upon, and we would feel that by now we should have moved ahead. Elections for council are supposed to have been in 2022. There has been no communication from NEC to political parties. Are we not having council elections in 2022? Somebody should have that conversation with political parties. It seems as if it's NEC waiting for this, I call it census loosely. But we should be on a calendar. NEC should be on the ball. on discussing with political parties, there is still an election, a by-election for a councillor, for a member of parliament who became a paramount chief. That NEC said they didn't know anything about it. I think it was 056, somewhere in Tonkolili. That NEC said, we not be no, nobody not tell we. I'm like, how inefficient can you guys really be? It's mind-blowing. And it is 2022. There's nobody in Sierra Leone that NEC is going to tell, or even the president, that we're going to be postponing elections in 2023. They shouldn't even think about it. They shouldn't even dream about it. Because we see all the shenanigans they have going on without any regard for COVID restrictions. None. So let us begin to have the conversation about elections with NEC. NEC, if they're in their slumber, they need to wake up and they need to begin engagements. And they're not going to tell us there's no money for elections either. So I am quite disgusted with NEC, actually, to be very specific, because it seems as if they want to wait until the very last minute and then come up with some ridiculous excuses as to why we will not have elections 2023. Those reasons are not going to fly. They're not going to fly. The government, the World Bank advised the government, you guys are not ready for a census. And they said, we're going to show you, we're going to show you that we can afford a census. No, I've seen videos of people who are complaining they haven't been in the neighborhood. They haven't darkened the streets of this place. They haven't been here. So NEC needs to get on board. They need to get on the calendar. And we need to start having conversations about the elections. That's what NEC needs to do.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Femi Claudius. Cool. The thing about you, and one of the things then that you're making your mark on is you not they only talk about the issues, but you they provide solutions as well, and things then that you won't have on your watch. That's brilliant for a politician. Babadi, how about you line now? Any better? Babadi? Babadi? Okay. I think Babadi really having a problem. Babadi, what I go advise you?
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Okay, Babadi, you line really bad. Maybe you need for log off and log on again, but your internet strength is really poor now, and they affect, you communication.
If I were to make a suggestion, let him turn his camera off.
Yes, Babadi, yeah, that's a good one. Turn the camera off, then that will save you bandwidth. Then at least your voice will come out, better than with your camera on, because they eat a lot of your data. Turn your camera off. I will come back to you, Karim. Let me just come to Karim quickly. Brother Karim, many thanks, for that short introduction. And on that basis, as per your introduction, talking about you being a social economic activist, that's quite, heavy, social economic activist. Before I go to a direct question based on your area of interest, social economic activist, the first question I asked the guests then today, because so many things happen over the 12-year period, the 12-month period, constituting 2021. What's in the story then where most capture your mind inside this 2021? Because there's a lot will happen, but what's in the most for you, if you get for put them by priority or hierarchical order? 1, 2, 3. What's in the most to you?
Wow. Yes. We still get feedback from Babadi. Okay.
Yeah, I don't mute them. That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you very much again for having me on the show. I think to say a lot of really very important things that happen throughout this year. If you know outside for stats, some things that will not happen at all. For example, the fact say the issue of the Constitution or the constitutional review, where they be promised, we say, will happen. You know, the first year we then come, or the second year, where they not take them up to this time, where don't show say the government really not interested for push through a kind of genuine constitutional review process, acting to say that they very stand out for me, because if we do not get the political framework, the constitution and the political institutions then correct, all the other issues then not go work out in the country. The recent issue of the sacking of the suspension of the Auditor General on very flimsy grounds, we up till now, we not even, they don't set up a kangaroo court, a kangaroo investigative panel, which is not sitting. You know, now maybe they try for find evidence then for bring case scam, you know, goes for show the extent to which we don't sink. And the reports of the Auditor General, you know, we understand say some games they play with the final report, but even the one way they release, the things that will come out, really, really shocking. It means we are just going backwards in terms of accountability. In a situation, Usai, a whole president's office run by the president, managed by the president himself. That means the one way in get direct, they under nose, directly get, you know, they oversee directly waiting they happen under nose. Will they get this kind of level of corruption to the extent that then they forge receipts? It's really scary. I think to say this is not the worst we don't come, you know, or we don't see since independence, you know. So I think to say the continued exposure by the Africanist press in terms of the recklessness of the management of the resources of the state. And not forget, say, this is a presidential campaign on the fact, say, they can block leakages. You know, what you do, you open floodgates of wastage and massive looting of state resources. And they say in the camp, institute effective management of the state and its resources. Now, in banner them during the elections, effective and judicious management of the state and its resources. You know, for make it come to this level where they reach to the extent that they forge receipts, apart from the waste, for just take country $500,000 of the country money, just say you go spend, you go, you know, you get medical issue without, you know, get no issue at all, absolutely. You know, just take them and go, you know, and God bless you, get a talkative first lady way expose everything, because now he expose everything. Say then they on a honeymoon, when officially then tell we say then they, you know, then get emergency health and all problem where they need for solve in the midst of COVID, where people in they suffer, where basic things they're not there in the country, basic, you know, service and not in the country, you know. So it just show the callousness, the complete disregard for the people in life and for improve the country and the people there, you know. So for me, you know, Lara Taylor Pierce in suspension, the issue of the Constitution, where they not really take up the issue of recently the fire incident in Wellington, we show again, you know, this is something that was preventable. It happened in 1 hour from the time the fuel begin leak to the time the explosion happened. If now a functional state, you will have a situation outside them for don't cordon off that place from, I don't know if you know that area, they very well, and I grew up, you know, then for don't cordon off, and you get two police stations, just about 5 minutes from that location inside the thing happened. and you get people and go report to the police, take any action, for cutting up. They could easily have blocked from Coca Street to the west and Saino to the east, and for don't save with so much atrocities or so much deaths, Then one other thing very important, the issue of the statistics, Sierra Leone, the census, where they just come, manipulate, they fail for consults, all the stakeholders. We don't go spend so much money, a total failure. It's a massive failure, So resources that should have been prioritized for provide better healthcare, provide public transport, provide improve education system at the country. A lot of teachers, and they, very recently in November and early December, I get opportunity for travel, go Falaba and Koinadugu on a separate walk. What we get for do, go na some places them where I see the, I go na the classroom them, I see the teacher them, and talk to the teachers, talk to the headmasters, and waiting at their problems and all that. Schools then of over 400 picking them. We now one green teacher then gets. One green teacher. The community people and they gather money at the end of every month. They're able to give volunteer teachers them 100,000, 200,000, 250. So much resources needed for upgrading classrooms and they for provide ventilation so the beginning and go learn in a decent environment, pay the teachers better and recruit more teachers them, but they are not doing that. So a whole lot of things they have to say go bad this 2021. But for me, these are the standout things them so far.
Many thanks, Mr. Ba. Absolutely. And Fambulena, that would be to say, there are so many things we make up this story for the past 12 months. And everybody, but you can see the interconnection, the relationship between the things them. Somebody not mentioned 3, mentioned 2, but there are always these connections between every one of them. Madam Femi Claudius Cole, if you can put you gadget in a landscape position, it go better so we all day at par in terms of the output. Now they're vertical, so put them in landscape, please, if you will. Baba, are you still there? We really need for hearing from you. Unmute yourself. Unmute you. Yeah, Baba, did you hear you?
I'm on clearly.
So, Babadi, again, one quick advice what you need for do, because I suppose say you they partake in the program at the same time you they try for watch the program on some gadget. If you they watch up, you can watch your video yourself, but you need for bring the level down, the volume to 0, bring it down to 0. Other than that, we go get the interference. Okay. So, Babadi, you want to introduce yourself quickly, please, if you will?
Yes, Chief.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead, please. I think you're far better now. You audio clear. Babadi? Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, Babadi, go on with the you introduce yourself, please, quickly.
Hello. Yeah, it talk.
No, Babadi, with the you seem to communicate with somebody else. Pay attention to the program. We the you. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Whatever you watch the program on, put them on 0. Just focus on the program for now, please.
Well, someone providing a meeting at the direct forum of network. I'm collecting information at the moment and how they go like the countries people and with democracy. We see how other democracies the flow, Ghana, Senegal, public. It's the best democracy in West Africa. I'm saying, so of countries they come from they report them every year from 2006 to date. In say that we could be in
Babadi, you go get forgive me. We cannot continue with this bad line. You know, get international viewers them, local viewers them, listeners them. We really they hang on to everything we say. And to be honest, brother, your line is really poor. If you're able to adjust them and come back, that would be fine. But we can't continue with that line and we get other 3-4 guests them we talk to. But if you fix you stuff up, you can still come back to the program. Fambule, let we take a quick break. I want for that we take a quick break and we will come back again after the commercial break. We take only one commercial break today. And while Fambule understand, say, we do commercials now, then and now, right now. So we want to let people know this, yeah? We really want to let people know this. That we do commercials now, the platform. And as soon as I can see in my background, we are introducing a new logo. Every serious organization, every 2, 3, 4 years, they evolve, and there are certain changes the way they can make. So if you want to look at my background, this is going to be our new logo going into 2022, and etc. Make I just do one quick commercial. I hope I get this right, or we just go right back into the program. Let's see what happens. And this could be with new introduction. Anyway, I'll just play with new introduction quickly. So Fambule acquaint themselves with So Fambule, once again, welcome to 2021 in retrospect. Here tonight, we get 4 important personalities. Of course, the 5th one is unable to join us because of some personal, reasons. We happen to be Mr. Cherno Alpha Mba of the Africanist Press. I mean, the brother is so busy that unfortunately he could not be with us here today, but I can promise una that is still they continue for carry the work out where we all don't come for Noam in the fight against illegality, corruption, and try for outline and showcase what exactly they happen in the country. So we're not able for Brian come on today as we've been arranged because he already committed to them work the way they do and nothing else. Mr. Cherno Alpha Mba, but watch out during the new year. Definitely, we promise you say we go bring Cherno come. Dr. Sandy, you've been very, very patient. So of course, now that can happy with that program there where you get 3, 4, 5 people. But I want to bring this come back to you on the issue, not specifically on PPRC because you don't talk about PPRC. The way supposed to be the regulation of political parties. Sister Femi Claudius School, don't dismiss them on the basis on which they operate. But I want to talk about the police and the judiciary. The police and the judiciary. The police, many people don't call for police reform because of heavy-handed tactics, complicity, brutality, if you will like, in complicity with the judiciary. And one of the cases them, we stand out for this particular year, we put with judiciary and with police under the limelight. Now the case of una fellow compatriot, una fellow party leader, Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari. Dr. Sandy, where do you really stand when it comes to this issue of police brutality, extrajudicious activities then with judiciary, and the case of Kamarimba Mansari?
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Sandy. Did you get the question, sir?
Yes, I get the question, Prince. Again, it's unfortunate that many of we don't work so hard for reform the security sector and the police in particular and the military. And therefore, that is the sector we belong to. Everybody know that this country and overseas. And besides, there are other institutional framework where they don't put, say, police for doing work, what they call force for good, like the police complaint board, when an international standard were established in any other country under the African Union Protocol on Policing. So, unfortunate that some of the human rights violations the way the police and they conduct, we're not still able for investigating, because by right, really a serious government, we suppose for they bring the police then to the police complaint board, and then make sure that once they investigate you, for example, for shooting without no command structure, which happen in many instances, as we are aware, riots, protests, and then even look at the time where one of the local unit police commander, they shout at Middle Sudan, but they watch the video where they shout at peaceful colleagues, them, Madam Femi, Denise, them, where them they go for good handover letter to the Attorney General as well as the Chief Justice. I was not very pleased with that, because the police will be done left behind. We call us citizens and people-centered policing, community police. It's not a state-centric, but unfortunately, we don't begin to reverse the police into protection of the state. In other words, government, the executive, rather than serving the interest of the citizen. Number one. Then number two, in terms of the judiciary, we brother and colleague Mohammed Kambarima, of course, I have been very close to his party, and I have been also talking to him even from afar, that all is not lost. But obviously, in case, let me say, an alleged crime they commit, but yes, we don't pass mark with a gross human rights violation with impunity. But you say you don't in self-detention, or you don't you appear court for over 15 to almost 24 months, it is not fair on his part. And also, I'd get for follow-up on a number of things that we didn't say that we don't grant him bail, but the bail was not able for fulfilling bail because of travel documents, which is not fair, because the master registrar saying the most important thing where people then can do for hello?
Yeah, you did on Saudi, are you?
No, I will get some call intercept. Now,
Okay.
the most important thing is that for say the IG and the police should provide, the IG and the police should provide evidence of, say, the man Osborne and McKinney, and may get 2 travel documents. I think really doesn't come for, because the point is almost here it take, now immediately after the election in 2018, now Mohamed Kamema lost in Os and property. They me lost me on Os 2016. Now I'm going to forget my national passports, then with other traveling documents. So, and obviously, number 2, with the pay for realizing national chairmen and leaders of political parties, whether they're in parliament or they are not, they are part of they are integral component of the public sector. In other words, Mohamed Kambarima, now public sector institution they have. The ADP is not his private is not his private organization. The ADP, not in Mama and property, not in Papa and legacy, but a public sector institution where established by law, we fulfill all the criteria and requirements then, where he need for be given that honor where they're not deserve. So in other words, how can that man get abandoned in work, unable for grant and bail, and then say may the man go court like her in and out? But we say because the man with the suspect and say get dual citizenship, na American person and a Salon person, then on the basis of that, unable for grant any kind of bail. It's rather unfortunate. This is why a lot of people think that the judiciary itself is being co-opted by the state, and which, as they move forward, perhaps the best way to do after the constitutional review process, in which I'm sure this government is not ready to do, because for me, your experience, we're not even ready for putting in place what we call a referendum bill. A referendum bill, because a constitution, because there are entire clauses that they, we can wishy-washy, you pass on to parliament, which we have to also be careful with. We would advocate for constitutional review, but do we trust these people that they will give us the kind of constitution, put her into a referendum, we will take minimum 1 to 2 years, follow build a consensus on yes or no? Because constitution is not about political parties. It's about nobody knows for wearing political party uniform, so some of this independence of the judiciary, we will see how for put her into the court, but we are not very happy. Clearly, everybody not happy the way justice is being delivered, whether it's fair in this country. And the case of Mohamed Kambarema, we are so disheartened as opposition political party. Today, na tomorrow it will be any one of we. So it's not something we are very happy about. And we feel say he has not been treated well. We will continue to advocate for human rights issues with impunity, when are one of the main issues the way they stand out now this 2021, that there are a lot of gross human rights abuses with impunity, whether from our security forces. And once it gets back to the judicial system, we know they treat them so serious. And we now some of the elements of the root causes of the conflict, the trigger points the way they make people go into war. So for we now we party, we don't begin see and say most of the root causes or the trigger points the way to make people go war, especially related to the delivery of justice system, the role of the police or the security sector, and I don't begin to see them back, which is really, really not fair to this country. And you they see civilian, they don't begin old policeman, OSD. Can you imagine first you go mistake old OSD, begin slap and beat her? Where you see the community don't begin take the laws into their hands, and they see policeman, they arrest and then beat her. Yeah. Then I'm very worried about the way we continue to go, whether the state itself, this is the way to go. So go back to you. The human rights with impunity is becoming very apparent. Above all, the political intimidation, when one of the reasons that they will begin advocates from the word go will be established with your upper situation, where then they arrest, detain APC members, then CID. In those days, we said, no, you should not invite them. Let PPRC invite them because a chairman and leaders of political party. Where recently they also go detain Madam Femi Claudius, them Karim Kaba, the other, many. So it's this is not unique. We should not we will be careful not go towards a one-party state or a dictator situation. That's my greatest fear as we talk. Say where the police will be used or the security sector, institution, and the justice sector are captured so that they can intimidate opposition voices, and then when you talk past Mark and say, okay, let me put you in a Panemba road or we'll put you behind bar. And that is the greatest fear what can lead to a conflict, as we've seen in many other countries.
Family, all of it. And the man we just talk, and the particular issue we talk about, he is an expert and a professional in that particular area there. The triggers, the thing that we can make will roll into conflict situations, and how for prohibit them. The sad thing about it is like one of the key government person of Dr. Francis, including the president, these people are or supposed to be people and we study conflict management. In other words, are for avoid or protect people from going into the conflict situation. But we see, like we hear Dr. Sandy talk just now, we seem for they go into that. And Mr. Karim, the judiciary, there seems to be a lot of distrust. Babadi, if you don't fix your phone line or your voice line, now for try for interfere a little bit, let we hear, then if you clear, we go try for engage you. Yeah. So feel free for interject at some point. If your line clear, we go come straight to you or we will address that. So back to you, Karim. The police, many gross violations of human rights, the judiciary, social inequities, so much more that there is a distrust between the governed and the governors. The governed and the governors. I wonder waiting are you sentiment, than a one. about the police, the judiciary, and then the second part will be waiting Dr. Sandy talk just now based on the question we ask. It's not only about the problem, but waiting at the solution, like with a sleepwalk into a crisis. How can we avert this?
Thank you very much again. You're very right for saying that we are sleepwalking into a major crisis because the most important institution of the country where they ensure peace and harmony and the justice system, where the police, the judiciary, even the prisons are part of. If you get a system, a police system that is completely dysfunctional, that is so corrupt, I mean, the level of corruption of the police, we not, I don't know.
Karim, you watch the program live, you need for bringing volume down.
No, I know you watch your live.
Okay, now somebody else they get the interference. Babadi, you need to mute your audio, please. I think that you interfere. Go on, Karim. Sorry about that.
Yes, the police or the justice system, the justice sector, is so fundamental for any peaceful society. After bread and butter, after food and basics like housing and shelter, the most important way for working in the country are the police service. And the police for be seen to be protecting citizens, not the kind of police that we get before, because the history of the Sierra Leone police is rooted in colonialism. And colonialism, an institution of occupation, of oppression, of control. Now we need to go beyond that. The policing will for develop now the kind of policing where the citizens can go feel safe around, the citizens and go look up to for protection. In the streets of Freetown now, the traffic police, they're completely lawless. Then they stop you. I mean, when they talk about bringing foreign investors, talk about all this big talk. If we not get them basic things and they right, who is coming to, that will kind of also. One Black African American, they make a video recently where he cancelled on a YouTuber. He cancelled, he give impression about the country. This is somebody where not say I come out, wherever support APC or SLPP or whatever sentiment against any of them. But when you listen to them, you see the kind of, waiting the guy they talk, the dysfunctionality, the poverty.
Yeah, I think I saw that video.
The police, he said the whole country not get traffic lights. No traffic lights.
Oh, yeah, I see that video. Yeah, I know what you talk about now. Yeah.
It don't become so normal that we not even notice against a traffic light not in the country. So when somebody like that come, they pick them up quick, say, how country go there in this 21st century? Policemen they team up in the streets, they stop motor car, you come, it's so funny to the guy, And I think to say we cannot emphasize enough how important the police is for the peace and tranquility of the country. Is absolutely important. And the police will get, they know they serve the citizens. They serve whoever they in power. Whoever they in power. Somebody they tell me yesterday say they get one government official they where they drive motorcar way now foreign number plates. They drive around the country with foreign number plates. For over a year now. I mean, anytime the police then stop them, just they flash an ID card say in a senior government official. And one occasion they were the senior this government official, a police stop him that morning. The police was adamant, say this is wrong. I'll need for arrest you. I mean, you cannot do this wherever you are. The police standing ground, and the police then go at it. Say he threatened the police, say, you can be go no more. Say one can go na station. Then go na station. He calls somebody. Then call they call the Inspector General. Then the end of the day, the policeman, when they try to do the right thing, they scold them, they shout at them and say, this man is senior government person. So then kind of small things then una they at the top. Now for serve as good example, but una they break the law, then you use your power. And you forget, say tomorrow, you not get for another position there. You go be an ordinary citizen where you need for get justice. So we cannot really emphasize the police need total overhaul, the way how they train the police. I don't know, Dr. Sandina, expert on security sector. I don't know other countries, they almost say that they take for train police officers, but it look like say we now like 2-3 months, we see them go, they don't pass out. 3 months not enough for train quality police officer. For even be a mechanic, or a cleaner self, maybe they will give more training than that. I think to say the police, really need transformation. It really needs transformation. And the justice system, the way how we select judges, it's all the president and they decide whether or not the judge, whether or not the chief justice, whether or not the Supreme Court. These are the things that we need to change. And when Dr. Sadi talk about the constitution, yes, myself not believe for say this government go give we a constitution where go stand the test of time. Because if we want to do a constitution, we as citizens then will come together and put we together and say, this kind of constitution go help we. But we all know that they go try for manipulate them and do whatever just for sort of get an advantage during elections. And they fail for realize they're not going to power forever. And tomorrow it will come back for hunt them.
Yeah.
So if there is anything, we citizens that need for really prioritize and for make we go call for a kind of a system where not only the government within our power they decide, either for even the constitutional, the constitutional committee, even like the last time where they tried to do the constitutional review. I see it should go beyond the review. We should rethink the states. We should rethink, people in political science and don't come up say these state institutions that were created, the constitution we'll get was developed under a one-party state, which is rooted in a colonial state structure whereby everything is centralized and it's about domination and control. So we need for bring the best brains and every citizen get input for make. Whose kind of constitution we go develop? Whose kind of state structure we go develop? We're not to this presidential system where one person win and don't control everything and they decide whether McKinney forget road and they decide whether Kailan forget road or Kabbalah forget street lights or something like that. We forget a system that is decentralized, that is structured, is rooted in the history and the culture, and is democratic and is dictated by waiting the people they want. So we go need a kind of a mini parliament. I don't know how we call them. A mini parliament where people can go elect for just draw the constitution. When then people in the way they go draw the constitution, they're not for take part in any elections for the rest of their life. So then go sacrifice your own contribution to the country. Now for put together a constitution we go stand the test of time. And these people will not take part in any future elections. So people that we not trusted people them, some of them retired, some of our professional people that we not go left them profession kind of state institution. They sit together from every district, they elect people them, they constitute maybe a constituent assembly, some people will call them a constituent assembly. People in Sidon consult with the villages, consult with the districts, consult with the chiefdoms, and come up and consult with experts, with people that like, Professor Jimmy Kande. We don't write a lot of things about political system and the flaws. People like Dr. Yusuf Bangura, we sit on Geneva, they advise the UN on how to end poverty and those kind of economic policies. Bring all the best brains, put them together and say, consult to people that let's have a constitution that is going to work for us, not a constitution that is going to work for one party or one group of people. Then if we get that right, and we get the appointment of the Chief Justices right and all that in a new constitutional framework, I think to say we will begin to move forward. But for now, I don't see us moving forward with this constitution. And not only the constitution bad, the people in back where they try for implement the constitution, then say bad. Because if you get like a bad constitution, then you get some maybe a really genuine leadership, you know, they always try for do the good thing, you know. But now you get a leadership where they really just they look forward to their own narrow political interest and narrow ethnic and regional interest, and not they look after the majority of the people. Then you get a constitution where they allow a dictatorship for easy, because this is a president as Salona said, like a dictator. He can do anything he wants to do. You know, so that is fundamental. And part of that for the reform of the judiciary and the reform of the police for make them more accountable to citizens rather than to politicians.
Well said, Mr. Karim. And I want to go to Femi with the same point. The police, heavy-handedness, the judiciary, just like Mr. Basse, Karim, there are two institutions then we cannot tie up to each other. You have been a victim, Sister Femi, to police brutality and the judiciary, the manhandling, human rights abuses, and etc. Would I better for explain the relationship about these two and the misgiving them? But you, Femi, waiting, I express some sentiment about them two institutions there, if you will, please.
As far as I'm concerned, we really do not have a police force in Sierra Leone. We don't have at all. They are basically an arm of, I don't even want to disrespect the Boy Scouts, but they are some arm of the executive that simply does their bidding. I mean, Karim mentioned traffic. As far as traffic is concerned, as far as the police is concerned, it's a business. As far as arbitrary arrests are concerned, it's orders from above. The police, there's nothing independent about the police in Sierra Leone. They simply do the bidding of their masters, and they do so very badly, I may hasten to add. And I have really watched them up close and personal. I have zero respect for the bulk of them. Not the traffic police, not their new monster they created called traffic wardens. They are just a mutation of the police force. I have zero respect for them. They have no independence. They are not independently thinking. They are not independently acting. The upper cadre, I don't even know what they are doing. As I said, I don't want to disrespect the Boy Scouts. I really don't. They are not a force for good. They do not serve and protect. I am baffled. Exactly, I would love to see their curriculum of what they are taught in police training school. What we see as citizens is a total disrespect for the citizens. It is making money out of transporters and even innocent drivers. It is who first goes to the police station to complain is right. It is paying police to do any kind of detective. I had an issue. I took it to the police station. I have to chase the detective to investigate my case. It is what the police are doing is a total disgrace to the uniforms they put on.
Okay. Many thanks. And on a very serious note, there are calls for police reform from a larger sector of we society. Because time and again, we've seen the heavy-handedness, police brutality against the people who they are meant, just Sister Femi say, for serve and for protect. And this is not the case. And this is creating this misgiving, this mistrust in the society. And Dr. Sandy say earlier on, now the footpath down there to eventually waiting can turn out for be bad in the society. Dr. Sandy, you want to say something, Sister Femi? Go on.
I mean, I want to just give you the latest one. Where
please do.
There are crimes committed serious crimes. We're talking about the killing of that SLPP guy, so many other crimes. We didn't hear not a peep squeak out of IG. Instead, the IG offers a 5 million reward.
Yeah. These are the testament of times, and thank you for bringing that up. And exactly, now the same is given in this way people and they talk about. So we all see the IG is sit down, he call a press conference in which now so the vein they team up now the IG, it be so personal for them. And see waiting the madam just say Gigi Snow, something serious, as much as murder. Maybe warrant some investigation. Yes, Karim, you want to say something on that note? Okay.
No, I mean, just wait. Yes, just waiting for me to talk. You compare the kind way how the police take, the recent LJ issue compared to the issue of, alleged murder. We don't take place, and up till now, nothing is happening. I mean, this is so. I mean, you don't want to be in a country like this. You can get shot and nothing happens. You get killed, nothing happens. This country, you cannot get peace in a situation like this. One day, people are not beginning to react. They attack the police now. They fight the police. Then they beat the police. Whenever they get the opportunity. And so now state failure they go past, state collapse.
Absolutely. And Dr. Sandy expressed that sentiment there earlier on. And this is not the fearful thing. And we leadership for take a step back, reflect, look at them things they are, and no say, then get the burden of 7.5 million people. Not only handful of people them way they want, for serve, but a 7 point some more million people them and a state where they need, for live up to the expectation of them people them instead of sleepwalking into this chaos and miasma that we are going into. Dr. Sandy, thank you for your patience about. I want to bring this come to you, something what I believe say, because I don't talk to you over many, many months, and I know say this is not something we're very close to you, you had, which is the issue about decentralization. Devolution, the 1991 Constitution, and the power and political issues them surrounding this entire process. I mean, just want to let you express your sentiment. And in 2021, because I think where you don't talk about over many years, but in 2021, I want Yeri your reflection. I want Yeri your sentiment about this particular issue about decentralization stroke devolution of powers.
Thank you again, Prince, and thank you, colleagues. You remember what you said we all give you just a quick, and the audience, just a quick reflection of how, what are the key outstanding points there for 2021.
Yes, sir.
And I briefly give some positive aspect of waiting to go on our country and tell all man thank you. When it comes to the challenging environments now, what you are called the negative aspect, maybe I would like for, including what you don't ask, now for categorizing into two: one, political governance issues and economic governance issues. Under the political governance issues, we say that the challenge and failure that we get for be careful, not going to lead to instability. One, now what you mentioned, the non-partisan decentralization, where they try for Shobana with vote, for say, local government elections should be non-partisan, political parties are not for being involved. And therefore, we be strong, in fact, that was one of the root causes of evolution, the origin of COPE, because we come together and say, no, this never happened. And therefore, we still go persist into that. But waiting me don't come quietly. I understand that the law for local government act, and then the PPRC act, then the Public Election Act. The draft bills are already in the office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. So as they move forward, this is something when I come back to, I therefore engage with colleagues. We need to quickly have a draft of the bill before it gets to Parliament, because it is something we get for somebody closely tell me, I'm not going to disclose them as part of our own strategy as political parties, but they are not positive laws the way they don't draft them. Number two, the electoral law, I just mentioned that is something we need to closely work at, especially what the legitimacy of what they call the RRF form, the result and reconciliation form, in our law. And that's not the primary form where we pull in agents and at the polling station where they don't count if they vote for Prince, they vote for Femi, Jonathan, or Karim, we will count right there. If it be legitimate, that form, they know the whether the territory for wait for only the chief electoral commissioner or the regional for announce, we get for make sure see no, like the case where that happened in Nigeria recently in terms of transmission of electoral the votes, the legitimacy starts from the RF form. If you snap yourself with WhatsApp and send it to your party office, then collect an name for stand. Because you remember recently the Kabbalah situation, who say APC and the APC candidate and the SLP candidate say, okay, APC tally say, okay, from our RF form, we find out say we ward council on I win down and 30 days the matter in a court, it's not clear because they say the issue only lie with the regional commissioner or the commissioner for announce. So that power, that too much power can be really to abuse. We see what happen with Christina Top and many of those things. So really we have to watch on that. The other point is, obviously for me, we stand under political governance is the issue of the appointment of commissioners, NANEC. You know, I kept saying this many, many times. So we need to really understand the difference between information and consultation. Did the president consult we as provided by certain section of the Constitution? No, majority of we no consult. So what do we do? Is there a legal redress? We get from think through out of the box. So we go discuss that with colleagues again. I know we're talking here, waiting at some of my advice and what I don't get from both friends and my party and see what to go do. Because when we talk about the electoral management bodies, if you don't count the umpires, then we are not happy with them and force them to parliament, force them can we give to be very careful. And that brings me to the role of parliament. You know, are we happy with parliament so far? The way they don't manipulate parliament, all the laws, the legal policies, then and they pass through and normally shove and fast through parliament. And I don't observe if I want to say what in Femi in restaurants. I remember I gave some other friends, I give JPJ and all then Lord, they know they go past and fast. Then 2 years ago, and I can't tell colleagues and say, let's be careful. So this is well cooked. Obviously, the midterm census is something we are all against. And we party in particular, we are against the midterm census for two reasons. One, we feel say the timing is not right. Then one. Then two, what's not the difference between, we need to forget constitutional interpretation of the word midterm census versus a later census, because the 1991 Constitution, when it comes to political boundary demarcation, electoral boundaries, it mentioned later census. There's nothing about midterm census. So do we need a Supreme Court interpretation? So we did think about all that. And then lastly, the issue of appointment of public officials, you know, it has pleased His Excellency. So we not be happy how much that they go on because we don't see terms of references of people. We don't see job description. We not see people that they go in a way in a transparent manner for go to public sector interviews. Just like the thing the way Karim mentioned, you know, it's you go on nepotism and people that don't sit over TV and radio 98.1 say, Bo, me, I only the work with the one that was Sabi. You know, that's a nepotism. I worked with Tijan Kaba for many years and I don't work in a government before I go out. I mean, it was fair that people jobs were being advertised, especially technical jobs. Cabinet ministers, we can understand. But also, the greatest thing where they work in are the thing where they use nepotism for appoint people then at public sector jobs. We really need technical people. And that is one of the reasons why we, in terms of both domestic revenue mobilization and tech delivery of services, because the competency is not there, in my view, in terms of the government thing. On economic governance issues, we mentioned some of those things already. The way you reach an airport, they say the COVID test, now $80 would they pay, $70, where you want to go, you come, where you ask people, they say, okay, but how much are we, the revenue from COVID tests, how much we don't use them for mobilize, for buy more vaccines than for inoculate people? Are we using that money for wasteful spending, equating Chair Noba and other colleagues that don't, will they use taxpayer, will they contribute tax, and will they contribute to the kind of revenue in day? But yes, still, in terms of public policy priorities, is it wasteful spending through overseas travel, or are we using it to bring more vaccines and make sure people they're protected? So public financial management, we just mentioned, is hopeless. You know, the auditor report don't clearly demonstrate that. The strategy for corruption, I'm sure you have asked that question there. In my view, because of time, are we getting it right? The strategy way National Corruption Commission they use is very hopeless and useless. It's lack trust. I don't trust it. And therefore, we need to rethink how we define corruption as alone. Is it economic? The root causes of corruption, in my view, always start with political and social corruption issues. How you recruit people there, you put them at all ministries, departments, and agencies based on nepotism, chronism, regionalism. So once you put them down, because I see no reason why the Auditor General report they come on, and all go to Parliament, the Anti-Corruption Commission begins single-side press conference. That's something hiding. You're hiding something. In criminology, we'll study state capture. How do we call it now? Yeah, it's state capture, organized crime, and corruption.
Institutional capture.
There are three issues then: state capture, organized crime, and corruption. So the state capture entities, then they rush quickly, give this perception, say, "Oh, they can't investigate." No, not to your business now. These are the people's, the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Auditor General. They are accountable to Parliament. And the Parliament has opposition parties there and other things. Let them take turn, look the document. So some of the things are procedural issues them. And I think they're waiting for address administratively because we all know at institutions, they're waiting the audit we. So what we're seeing you, they run now fast, say, oh, we don't fancy 1,000 some odd getting there. No, not something you want to hide. We don't want that. Allow Parliament to do their job, civil society to do their job. Let the opposition parties do their job. And then we make sure it's public expenditure, public financial management, it come to bear so that we all go, the cost effectiveness. Obviously, the issues about cost of stable items, building materials, for what I depends more abulling as me to commodity fung bawaya partner. Papa, things are so high now, you can't believe after 1 year. So let's stop there for now. But as you ask again, the issue about decentralization, the local government, the 22 local councils, they ask them budget line. They asked chairman and asked them about this year about it. I said, no, it don't pass 6 months, they not get subvention from the central government, under fiscal decentralization. So service delivery are poor, like where Karim say, you go to some schools, yes, people are not receiving things, textbook are not there. We just the whole 50 factor of the OP University also. We're now focused on post-war reconstruction. The university, they all may get forced, the school, they all may get, the technical school, they may get during the war, they'll all be damaged. Why would not focus for rehabilitate them, reconstruct them? They would open normal for call political gains. How many professors they will get? Will they connect? Will they Kenema? Will they all side? Will they scatter university 50 factor? So the education policy, the national education policy, is it coherent? Are we building a consensus on that? Let's say you talk about the education, the free education. Where is the national program? Where the baseline document? Where do we have indicators to measure progress over time? So for me, it's very disheartening that in terms of both political economic governance, there are a number of challenges. And therefore, my greatest fear is where will they come to 2022 election? Yeah, I'm sure we will come to a conclusion that I have my own views on that, because 2022, we just get for pray to God Almighty and Allah. Otherwise, it's not good, because that's the year, the foundation for elections. And once you go the electoral calendar, just look at the electoral cycle and some of the externalities where the National Electoral Commission put say, now then go and bog the number. Because by now, for example, we done, the electoral calendar, they tell we say June, July next year, now for the local government election. Are we on track on that? That is about 6 months or 6 months from now. Where is the voter register? So you see 6 months from now for June, July, then the following year, June, July, now they will forget the presidential parliamentary election. Otherwise, beyond July 2023, anything we'll do will be unconstitutional. So we will call for a transitional government. So now to update first.
Dr. Sandy, I still lay hold your foot to the fire on this one because there's a lot said there. And I quietly listened to how the tempo where we talk went up and down on certain issues than where you've been addressed. And this is historical because it's going to be cut down into bits, and thrown out there. I promise you that on this particular issue, the way you just addressed. But the reason why I say I want to hold your foot to the fire, because sometimes we talk the talk, but we don't walk the walk. So you're a political and social scientist. You've been in government before on all kind level, and you understand these things. And this is exactly what you speak to. And today you address the Sierra Leonean people and then concern because now una get the voice. But the question I want to ask, even though you say part of the talk where you talk just now, you say some of it, you get for go whole consultation. But these consultations have been going on for like more than 60 years since independence. And here we are today with some of the problems the way they highlight. Waiting, how we can able to find solution, if I can ask you this, not to all of the problems them all, but some of the problems them, other than just consultation. And also consultation, very important. But with some of the issues there where you highlight, let me say, for example, government, doesn't really give a damn, for lack of better use of word, doesn't really give a damn about certain things them. We see how with democracy, then they undermine them, the rule of law, governance, inside parliament, the structure them, the ACC boss, just like how you talk about the corruption report, boom, it don't jump. And you come to the conclusion where most people in whole, there is something really amiss because they jump the gun. They not come to you yet, that you don't take the initiative for address the issues. How can we do away with all of this, Dr. Sandy? Provide we some, roadmap, let me understand.
Thank you so much again. I'm sure Karim touched on some of the elements then we will talk in this. I think we will talk about democracy and the democratic governance. We not say a separation of power. That's how we define that. We get three institutions, then the executive, and then the judiciary, and the parliament. And under the executive, we get local governance structure, decentralization. Then we get the police, the security sector in particular, where then they reinforce the state executive. Now, if we watch, we all make sure one word way state failure, which Karim mentioned. Now that not be fear. Say, when we started back as a people, as a nation, under the leadership of President Tijan, I remember very well how after the NPRC handover, he inherited war. Let us not forget, say, Tijan inherited war, and at the same time, he tried for balance between war and democracy. And in that process, the people of Sierra Leone, including young people at that time like Karim, they were students. They stood firm. I remember their role in what we call restoration of democracy. When they college, then they forbid college. That's when we be the work now done, or they play behind the scene with Vafi corner them till we set up what we call movement for restoration of democracy, so that these were up front with university students, with market women, with civil society groups, the media, with international media communication. Everybody came together against bad governance. Because at the moment, what we see now, as much as we don't care, as far as Kaba in term for try for reinstitute the democratic governance structures between the executive, and then the parliament and all this. They went through that. Kaba tried his little best. Most laws were passed through. Imagine I'll be 7 or 8 political parties that within our parliament. Remember, 1996 election, actually now 22 to 23 political parties be contest. And one of the way parliament is set up now based on proportional representation. In fact, we had UNPP there, Johnny Pauline Party. In 2002 in particular, there are so many of them in parliament. So not that it was so easy for them to pass, for Tijan Kaba government to pass laws and policies through parliament. But they were dialogue, they were true dialogue, negotiation, consensus building. That is what democracy is about. So in the first place, waiting missing at this government, there is no dialogue, there is no consensus. When we say the political leadership style of this government is purely exclusive and divisive, in my view, because even the policy and legal framework, policy making and legal framework, then they exclude parties there, political parties, then they exclude civil society, then they say you know with or media people, and then they call you there. Because the midterm development plan, for example, they developed for 5 years. You tell them with the launcher, ask Madam Femi, Claudius, Dennis Bright, and many of us. Within a PPLC meeting, political parties liaison office, we all don't know. Say that they launched Salon 5-year midterm planning process. Even the committee, the technical committees, the cluster committee by 5 or 6 cluster of the midterm, none of will not be involved there. And people keep saying, oh, Jonathan, they're an expert in security, rule of law. Just no, but they're not saying, what's you know, opposition party? We are enemies to anyone. So that's politics of exclusion. The midterm census, where it starts, I will tell you an example. They say, okay, all in the parliament, them party there in the parliament, and then go be involved in the technical or advisory committee with central status. They excluded all of us. I mean, all 13 or 14 parties were excluded. And you cannot continue to dialogue. And then when you tell each kind, you want to go past their law and they fast, and this way you not build a national consensus. You take the COVID-19 fight. We talk till we talk. Many of us don't write books and literatures on how to address global health crisis, but we're excluded from the policy making, the programming, the narco-vice structures in our party picking them. So how do we move that? In my honest view is that one, we need for induced national dialogue across lines, across differences, tribe and regions. Number two, I think the issue as we move forward, because which I think is late now, how do we protect the integrity of our electoral process? I mean, greatest worry as we count 2022, because one, the externalities, the electoral calendar, look the externality, then they be forming about 4 or 5 externalities. One, the change in the electoral legal framework, where the legal framework from where the national workshop happened. We don't know who stage it is now. I just say the draft bill day. We're able for bill consensus. Who stage they go parliament, then we look to them, then whether we object certain thing, and they so now one and so next. I don't know how much the calendar will affect that. Number two, externality updates the register of voter register ahead of local government elections. Now, as I speak to you, voter register, the calendar says voter register for don't take place September, October this year. First voter register exhibition, September, October, it don't pass. December, final voter register. So who's out there on voter register? Don't know, we not know nothing waiting there upon Nande. So number three, significant change in population distribution across the country. Then say, it then go only the externality will affect the electoral calendar. Now, we government don't decide, say, go do population, say, midterm census. And if that, because by right, waiting for happen is, according to certain provision of the Public Election Act, especially Part 4, Section 38.4, even for the 1991, it say population census or for define the political boundaries or electoral boundaries. Now, after every 4 or 5 years. So the next really table for revisit to constituency and electoral boundaries now April 2024. Yeah, based on the 2015 census. So April 2024, but then don't say now, say, oh, but we don't you say government they plan midterm census, and if the reports of the midterm census count, they can't prove so we'll get more population disparity then between the constituency population when we get 2015 and now. So that they go we cause for can you visit these political boundaries again, where by right now they're supposed for don't set her up and use the same electoral boundary and move ahead with the voter. So that is a potential source of conflict and political instability. The reason why I can say I have argued many times 1 year ago, say census is not is a political public policy issue. The reason is where political where a nation or a country, then political system is based on regionalism, tribalism, ethnicity, then political parties and structure. If you come latest towards election, you want tamper with census for redefine the districts, what we call redistribution of districts, and then electoral constituency. They go bring tribal or how do I put it now, or regional conflict, like what in the happen at Ethiopia between the Oromo and the Tigray. Now, because of census and election, that one they say no, they're not mixed, they're not happy with the census, so the election not go on. The federal thing they happen. So with all of that, I believe, say, in my honest view, is that the only thing we left between us as a solution they make. Now, make I say, and I'll go and discuss this with colleagues that I can't talk back. The question I ask is that with all of this thing, with no hope in the parliament, no hope in the judiciary, the executive is manipulating this. The only option we get now for going to Supreme Court. Once the Supreme Court, for certain provision of the Constitution, for interpreting for we, if that doesn't work, we're going to ECOWAS court. And then because Sierra Leone are a member of international treaties and protocols on good governance, the ECOWAS, we are also members of the African Union, a Charter on Democracy, Election, and Good Governance. We make provision for promote political pluralism, like decentralization issue, then also how for make sure, say, you strengthen opposition parties then, and then especially for constitutional matters that get for do with issues we get for do with census and all of this thing. And the appointment of national commissioners, all of this will package them together. Let me go for Supreme Court and see if the Supreme Court self will come up here. If they come up here, we say, look, certain laws, the way that they pass, the Electoral Law, the PPRC Act, all these things, they are subset of the 1991 Constitution and supposed to complement the spirit and the provisions of the 1991 Constitution. But if they are going away, we don't voice, stay as political party, we don't voice, stay, we don't cope, we don't do this, and then they just shove on our school and they pass the midterm census, they don't go ahead with that. So let me go for interpretation on what's the difference between midterm census and latest census as provided in the 1991 Constitution. Not happening.
Okay, Dr. Sandy. Wow. Well said, sir. Lengthy explanation and very clear, articulate for everybody else, here for understand. And that addressed the question. And you even go beyond that because, yes, the issue of taking up constitutional duties, them, such as holding the government accountable, throwing the book at the government. Now, something will be definitely the bring come to you because if the government need a area, then definitely actions need to be taken, even though they cannot be addressed now because for few reasons, whether not issues of immunity or just because the executive, they interfere with the judiciary. But at some point, these cases go come up. And because now legal issues, definitely they will get for looking to them. We fastly they run out of time and we get few other areas they want to go on for let we cover before we leave. Before I go to Madam Femi Claudius, cool, I just can't to Karim back quickly. These are the issue about journalism, Karim. Many disappointments in the way matters have been reported and the conflict between journalists them. And the president in annual journalist assembly where you can hold that in wherever. The question what I want for ask Karim, of course it can be full but the same distrust what we talked about earlier on, it not only exists with the government, but it also exists with the fourth estate that the people then feel disappointed and use, whether now Umaru Fofana or even the top echelon of journalism in the country, everybody seem for get side and the people waiting at the middle does not really seem for matter than a one. Two, the president in outreach where you can get every end of the year. Like at this particular point in time where the audit report under the circumstances will be published and in the event after they publish waiting we come for no. Could journalists them have staged some kind of a protest, like not attend the presidential retreat where he called for them? Because it seemed like it's a kind of celebration, even at that critical time day, based on the report we come out and do about the audit. How you see Karim? Now your sentiment, please, on both sides.
Like how you don't say in the introduction, the media role is very, very important in any functional democracy. The media supposedly play a watchdog role by, now therefore be the people they are, for put it simplistically. You get the government or the executive, you get the parliament, when are the legislature, then you get the judiciary. They are all supposed to be independent. Then we have the additional watchdog role of the media. But for several reasons, we know now, say, the media don't abandon that responsibility, like which you will call the formalized civil society organizations, then people, NGOs or human rights organizations. The media has been captured by the political elites, and it's not just the one they within it's not just the one they within our government. It's starkly divided or split between the major dominant political parties in the country. So therefore, they don't play a watchdog role anymore. They know collectively they look after the interest of the people. So they have mostly taken sides for support one party against the other, sometimes for narrow, interest. Most journalists now they look forward for when governments can have power for make them, appoint them, into written they call them press attaches. They make them press attaches at different diplomatic missions abroad. They appoint them for serve as public relations, even though they not get the training for the public relations people, for various institutions, national institutions. Some of the brightest journalists there now will be there first. They all don't go into working for parastatals and different institutions. The way mostly now government they appoint them. So the independent press or the independent media has effectively been co-opted, basically, by predominantly the government in power. Then small of them, of course, very few of them try to be professional. Very few media houses are trying to be very professional. We introduce me as a journalist. I say I'm not practicing. What I'm practicing, a communications strategist. So
that's what I know about you.
Yes. So some of the things that we can help for do now for bring issues that we not there now the media limelight. For me, then come now the media limelight because I know how the media operates professionally and which they're supposed to look up to or look out for. So if something happen with injustice, they're supposed to cover them. If something happen with now of public interest, people when they talk about it, they're supposed to cover them. But we don't see skillfully the media, they all not become partisan. And they use, the power of the dollar, really, dollarization or monetization of the media. Because most of the media houses, they depend on the advertising government they give them. Secondly, some of them, they hope, say, them could make them, give them position in the government. So, they have all taken sides. We don't destroy the democracy for that. So we really need for really think about how we media for operate. Perhaps individual ownership or private ownership of the media, if it is still helping democracy, or whether we forget really public service in media outlets, because SLBC was supposed to be transformed from a state broadcaster to a public service broadcaster, which is that therefore seek the interest of the people, and people and they pay for them, so that the interest of the people and they seek. But that has not happened because the way it is structured, now president, they appoint the board, and then they appoint the new director, any president we can appoint your own director general. So, they're not going to be effective, So we need for radically rethink them. And most of the media houses, them have been, they can't say captured or don't take sides. I can even tease some of them. I say, you get for be honest with salon people. If you're not pro SLPP media, just talk them. Right now you paper say we are a pro SLPP newspaper or we are pro-SLPP government, but they hide, pretend for say they are independent, but in reality they are part and parcel of the, God bless we, Igui, Sharon Alpha Africanist Press, and really what's make you able to do that? Now because they out of the country right now, if we didn't also, therefore don't do a bad thing, So there is fear, a lot of fear, now the country about even for practice. Sometimes so I can write and publish on social media. My mama know we know the social media and they call me, they tell people and tell and say me don't write something. So people are afraid to say you write or so there is that fear, they get that subtle intimidation and they use different tactics. And more effectively, which I don't realize, previously the AYV and most of the mainstream media, including even SLBC, they will invite me a lot now the media, they will let me, and anytime I write something critical, no, I'll be red listed, just like how Britain be red listed, but who country there for going to the country, So the media really don't abandon their responsibility for look after the democracy, for look after the public interest. Most of them, they seek narrow interest, narrow financial interest, or possibility for their appointments. So really, this don't corrupt the media more than anything else. And if you see the judiciary don't corrupt, the police don't corrupt, the media don't corrupt, oh my God.
The country.
I think to say it's really bad for us. Yes, it's really bad for us. I don't know how we'll start now.
I mean, Fambul, today we already don't enter the very last day. It's after 12 o'clock, and I want to say thank you to the guests them. But we did in the last throes of 2021. It's just a matter of hours. 2021 will be consigned to history in 2022. And we are talking about the destiny of we country with three serious guests them. How will they go forward with this with nascent democracy? And we just hear from a brother, brother Karim, we just talk just now. And even though it make us lighthearted and we laugh, but now very serious issues them, now in the brother pinpoint. So how do we go forward from here where we are? 2021, a failed year, both by coronavirus and by every term of governance. We have, suffered all the consequences there. Sister Femi, we fastly they run out of time. So let's go to one or two contentious issues them again. We kind of close the year. And now issue of midterm census, where you see the so where all your job on, so you talk tranga one, and this midterm census where but cool people and don't listen to you and say, it look right to the way how we talk because the way you articulate the point on a more serious note is because the system forget credibility. Credibility matters. It really matters. It is at the core of democracy. And we not a nation normal way na island. We get other people the way we kind of attach to or other system the way we attach to. So when people begin for withdraw come inside a particular system and begin for tell you the reason why, we cannot downplay them. And I believe say this is what you have been saying time and again. So I want to let you express your sentiment once again because Dr. Sandy talked earlier on the process about the midterm census. We all know say midterm census not 10 years. But is it illegal that the president called for a midterm census? I don't think, in my opinion, the editorial of this platform, not illegal, is the issue where we think about processes and procedure. How they go try for bulldozer and a parliament go set Kuskas day. And I think saying now you talk down there because I listen to your lengthy audio where you release. Let me hear your sentiment about this midterm census, please.
It's quite simple. The president he get the power for the bokuting. But I can always maintain, say, with that power comes dialogue, comes wisdom, comes collaboration. It's not power for power's sake. It's not power for a dictatorial system of governing. And as Karim says, and I agree with him, if you're not going to review the Constitution, we're always going to be having this conversation. But he has the power to call a midterm census. Basically, he has the power to call a 3/4 term census, a 1/5 census. He can call a census every year if he so desires. But with that power comes the wisdom. And the wisdom comes in, are we ready? Why are we doing this? And Sierra Leone is a donor-driven country. Whether you like it or not, we depend on these institutions to prop us up. We depend on the World Bank, we depend on the EU. And the first report that came out was the EU waving the first red flag that a midterm census at this late in the game, a 3/4 term census, is unprecedented. That was ignored, and the EU was almost vilified. And then came the World Bank. And what the World Bank was saying are things that we had also been saying. A, the timing. B, the technical preparation. C, the lack of collaboration and inclusion in the process. And even at the very last stage, where Statistics Sierra Leone on 98.1 cordially invited us to what it was, I'm really still not sure. There was nothing. It was a blank page. And the fact that the World Bank pulled out funding, it only came as a surprise to the Minister of Finance and the government. It was very clear, even at our first last-minute interaction with them, that they were unprepared. They had no planning, and that was the red flag that the World Bank was waving. And the act that on which they arrested me, locked me up in CID, the act says, if you have valid reason why you do not want to participate, you may do so. And even when I was called to CID, based on my interview at 98.1, now, if a police, I go back a little to the police, you're going to call me to interview on my statement on 98.1. Police 101 or Police 98, Police 01 will tell you the first thing you do is have a copy, a transcript of the statement.
Yeah.
To show the arbitrariness of their arrest, of their holding people. There is a woman interrogating me. You not listen to the program, you not get the transcript.
Really?
Why am I here? Why on earth am I here? You being interrogating me and you actually locking me up for you failing to do your job. The census is right now, it's a sham. They are ill prepared. It is ill financed. It is disorganized. And I have every reason to say I will not support it, and I won't. My street, that's a major road. Nobody has darkened the doors of this street to do any kind of a census. What are you trying to prove to the world?
You
Why
get 1
do you
week,
not
you get 1 week extension, Femi. So maybe that 1 week extension, they are coming to your major street.
Extension, the 1 week extension has expired. It expires either today.
And they're still on that now you don't want it.
There's still no nakna, no podiwemi sabi in domotiate. And you're not going to, if it smells like a dog and it has fur like a dog and it wags its tail and it barks, it's a dog. This census has nothing to do with development. It is all about gerrymandering. That's all it's about. And that's why even against advice, you are going ahead with the process that this data cannot be entered into the global data. It cannot, because it will have zero credibility.
Femi, just a quick one. Of course, you don't make the same points in there, and on the same issue of the census, you go on for say, I mean, the World Bank and other donor partners, they pull out, and other in collaboration with even the local stakeholders. Technical work was not addressed. This is one of the reasons that we the World Bank, the evaluation of the pilot census, even they in question, the enumerators, then they not adequately train them. So therefore, they know say the entire process not being get credibility, and the World Bank kind of pull out. But you go on for say, these things explicitly, which is the process not get no credibility, and you intimate say the reason, in fact, why they do, which you almost say again on this program, and I just they ask you just for confirmation because I listened to your tape, is because they want for crook the election, create new districts, and etc., etc., etc. Did I listen to you right, Femi?
You heard me just fine. And that was part of the externalities that was added to the NEC communique. Those externalities say we should have elections, we should have boundary delimitations in 2024. Pending externalities. What are those externalities? And Jonathan touched on it, was the fact that if the census says all of a sudden, every cockroach, every grumpy, every woman, every granny has busy been giving birth in a particular area where the numbers suddenly triple, or even by 140%, the numbers have increased, then there's justification on those grounds for a new district. This is what gerrymandering is all about. And look, no matter how they slice it or dice it, if you're going to do something that is going to benefit the last person in the last village, you want a buy-in. You want a total buy-in. Why did we buy into NACRA? We bought into NACRA because the whole process was transparent, it was inclusive, and it made sense. It made sense. And we all traveled. I traveled all over this country with NACRA because I believed in the process, and it was an inclusive process. With this census, it is so exclusive, it's not even funny. Why would you only engage those They didn't even engage those parliamentarians, those political parties that had parliamentarians in parliament. They didn't engage even them. They did not. There was no dialogue with them. It was an SLPP power debacle.
And for put time in the
That's
word,
all
you
it
say
was.
them bulldoze the thing into parliament.
I mean, I was there. I was in parliament. I was pepper sprayed in parliament. I saw the whole bulldoze play out right in front of my eyes in real time. Well, how come this? It's not democracy anymore. This is democracy. This democracy that we're seeing playing out right in front of our eyes. But look, it's 2022 almost.
Okay.
Can everybody put on their serious hats now and let's begin to talk about elections? Because all these things we're talking about changing are not going to change with this administration. It's going to be business as usual and business worse. The only savior we have now in Sierra Leone is getting rid of this government.
Thank you so much, Sister Femi Claudius Cole. Karim.
And can I say good night? Can I say good night also to everybody and thank everybody?
Okay, before you go, I'll move on to somebody else. But if you can just take 1 minute and just opine on fiscal year 2020, the audit report, Lara Taylor Pierce, and the mayor of the municipality of Freetown, because they also call on a parliament where they deal with the backlog of audit reports. So if you can just compact and quickly inside 30 seconds, 1 minute, then of course you can leave because you've done quite well. And I really, really thank you for this. And I wish you a happy New Year.
Thank you very much. I mean, the audit report speaks for itself. It really does. There we again have timing. There we again have we say thanks again to the African Express. There again, we have a disgraceful management of our fiscal, of our monies in Sierra Leone. It's disgraceful beyond belief. And it is demeaning, it is an embarrassment, and something better should have been done that was promised. In terms of the mayor, that has been called repeatedly to the ACC. When the ACC boss looks at the audit report, it tells him exactly which rabbit hole he needs to go down, looking for the criminals. The criminals are not in FCC. They're not. Even if they are, they're definitely not in the mayor's office. That much is clear. When you call somebody 3-4 times and asking them the same questions over and over again, and you have 49,000 bags of rice, 49 big bag rice, 50-kilo bag that you cannot find, give me a break. You're not fighting corruption. What you're doing now is just picking on people. That's all it is. And I think for a mayor that is so hardworking, that has such a vision, it is a shame, it is a travesty that I don't know why they're trying this. I really don't know what this government is all about. We all live in this city. We all see the dirt. We all have the mosquitoes. You saw me spraying my arms and legs for mosquitoes in my own study. So why don't we support those that are doing well, penalize those that are messing up? And why shouldn't heads roll in State House for forging receipts? That's what, Commissioner, you have your work cut out for you. Get out of the rabbit hole in FCC and start fighting corruption. That's what we actually need to see from them. For me, this government, I think it's gone. I don't think they have a focus. I don't think they have a vision. They never did. And I cannot wait for the day that we can actually go to polls and register our disapproval.
That's called the democratic process, and that's how we exercise with democratic rights. Yeah. Sister Femi, you started the program on a high note. You certainly have ended the program on a high note. Obviously, the questions could have gone a little bit more, but I promise you, say, the beginning of the year, the first program me and you go hold with you backing and grace will be the one about COPP, C-O-P-P-P. The consortium of progressive political parties, the memorandum of understanding, where are we now 2022 and where we are heading, and the difference we again for make as we shape with political climate or environment going forward. Thank you so much, my dear sister, and God bless you, and Happy New Year. See you. I will see you there. I'll be waiting there. I'll see you. Good night. Good morning.
Good night. Good night, Karim. Good night, Jonathan. Good night, Mamadi. Yes. And good night, viewers.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's just go quick to Karim and the last roll of the dice this and again for do with this the fiscal year 2020 this audit auditor general report. Karim, quickly express your sentiments about this entire thing, because these two last thing the way we touch on the census, even though I not give you opportunity for let you touch on them just because of time constraint, but definitely we will bring you back and for let you can weigh in on the census. But just for end this program, on this note, the auditor in report, how personally you kind of see them? Because this is not story a lot of story can go away and sometimes a sort of fade or then sweep under the carpet. But this one, for many years to come, for the first time we hear about 4G, we hear about discrepancies them, we hear about misdemeanor, misuse, abuse of the public purse. On a lengthy level, sometimes you think just 1 year, but this has been like 3 or 4 years in the running. Karim, your sentiment, please.
Yeah, it's saddening, actually. It's very sad. And when you open the Auditor General's report, you really feel you get a mixture of anger and sadness. You know, for all these years, we decry the past APC governments, the Ebola money, and all of these things. You know, so we hoped beyond hope that, these guys would try to do better than the previous government. But as it is now, they don't do worse, far worse than the previous government, to the extent that the presidency for the first time has been documented for engage in, fraudulent things that like, receipts, forging receipts. This is disgraceful to the country.
Absolutely.
So really sad that the meager resources that we get for do things that for more people and feel, apart from all the waste, the useless travels, the extravagant salaries that they give themselves, the 100 and almost to carry them by recently we Boston all day for take people and to and from work. All this wastage, really the waste. The 500,000 or $1 million we didn't spend in Lebanon. Then for make we can realize at the end of the day back, the meager resources that we left out of the one that they don't siphon for themselves, their own enjoyment, their own luxury, you know, and healthcare, whatever. The smaller we left again, then they take them, then misuse them, then go on trip just because they want to accumulate per diem. It's really shameful. I mean, it's shameful and disgraceful. And, you know, the government not even say anything. You know, they don't say anything. You know,
it's like business as usual.
Yes, this don't happen. So, you know, like how Madam Femi say, no heads, no roll up till now. They don't ask anybody question at State House, say, how come when I produce false receipts, fake receipts? It shows. I mean, if you don't work in an office, you're there in charge, like you head a particular institution, something like that happen under your nose. Oh no, man. If you don't take action, you don't say thing, that means to say you are complicit in the whole scam. You know? So this is the thing. We have a president that is complicit in actually forging receipts, because if you don't take no action against this thing, then he's part of it. So it's really, I mean, the worst kind of news with all the bad news that happened this 2021 for make we get an auditor's report like that. And to the extent that we don't learn now, say, then try for doctorate reports, remove a whole section we get for do with NACIT and some other places, you know, just for make the amount of money where we lost seem smaller than before, so that they go for, you know, and waiting more scary. And every year the auditor, when they release this report, not to every agency they audit at the same time. They don't get the capacity for audit the whole country, but all the institutions. So they are just choosing few. They're just choosing few institutions. They cannot audit every department. They cannot audit education, Ministry of Education. I don't think so they put something on education. Education, healthcare, all these institutions, they cannot audit them at the same time. The capacity not there. And really, most audits, Auditor General in the world, they're not able to do that. If we want to do that, we need to bring Ghana, the audit service, we need to bring Nigeria, we need to bring Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, they all come for audit the whole government. And imagine, this is not just a fraction of the institutions that they audit. Imagine the kind of thing that will come out. So think for a moment about the one that we not even know it. We don't even audit it. The things that we left unsaid, you know? So the people can say, oh, now, 150 almost billion we lost. It's not. It's just a fraction of the bigger picture. It gives you a fraction of the big picture of what is happening in the government departments and agencies.
Karim, why should they on it? Of course, now the final question is, on the same note, what you take about the ACC boss with regard, I mean, there are many things about him, but with regard to intake on this particular audit report, is he protecting the system and the way they go about talking about opinion and investigating? Again, lump these two things together for me, both the report and the ACC boss, please.
I think to say, Jonathan Sandy described it very well, where he say, you know, saying get that security background. So they read people in mind, then criminology, you know. So basically that is trying to hide, you know, it's trying to hide, protect the government. If something happen, now you first grab and begin to say, hey, no, this not to me happen, not to me, or me, not to me do this. So then certainly you're a suspect. So waiting happen, and they try to protect these people, and that is what he has been doing. He's only going after the previous government. Nobody that this current government has been investigated seriously. I don't think anybody has been investigated. If you are talking about corruption, like how China say, not to past tense no more if I talk about corruption in the present continuous, now more important, because that's when you show that you actually mean them for say you defeat corruption, when you start with your people then. but it's not, the current Minister of Finance, he'll be there under Commission of Inquiry for corruption. So then they squash the case against them, they make a Minister of Finance. That alone, I think for me, that was the crowning moment for say, really, we are not fighting corruption. So Ben Kaifala is really not fighting corruption. He's part of this game. He's part of the game. He's part of the system. He's trying to distract us from real issues and even defending the corrupt people. So that is very clear. It's really where the money they pay them and for defend corruption and for defend the people that we corrupt instead of fighting corruption. So as far as we're concerned, for even invite as well, just close the Anti-Corruption Commission because it's really useless.
Yes.
Really useless. We're just wasting resources on it.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You're absolutely right. And in fact, I believe in our first program for 2022, we get Francis Ben Kaifala. Of course, they appear on the program. He wouldn't appear on the program, but we did do an analysis on him based on exactly what you say that they protect the system and how. Because we they play interviews then we hold outside of the country. It don't become so boisterous and braggadocio that it does think that people, are fools. They protect the system and at the same time act as if he's investigating. And we know that. So we get 2-3 interviews, them one in Nigeria. Also, I say, what they do now for protect the president and for make the president even be returned to power. We could play that interview there, we do an analysis. But thank you so much, Brother Karim. Let's go to Dr. Jonathan. Dr. Jonathan, many thanks, sir, for your patience. But now that we can do on the platform, we give the honor roll, to the big man for finally close the program. All of the things that we'll just talk on in the final part of the program, sir, I think that way you touch on from the very beginning because Nasto, your insight is deep. So, but we finally give you this opportunity for let you touch on this Auditor General in reports we come out, a damning verdict of the current administration, not 1 year because they go and say, hey, now this 1 year, and then we go back to 2018 and say, oh no, there was a fallback from the previous government. We know they are all corrupt, sir. But 3-4 years in government, you own this report, and it's not getting any better, except it will get worse. Thank goodness for the Africanist press. Thank goodness for Chernobyl. Other than that, millions of Sierra Leoneans will have been in the dark, but the conversation is fully on. Your sentiments are on the audit report.
Yeah, thank you once more, and Prince. And thanks to Madam Femi, although you don't left now, and obviously Madam Femi and my brother Karim, Karim don't touch on it a bit. Now, for me, when the audit report been published, and the first thing I do is, it's 500 and something, and I ask, economic advisor and our party, not to tongue it, they have seen it, look. The first thing we will discuss is that a good Lewy Fambo, they all look at the audit report, just the Roman figure number 1 to 6. It summarizes all waiting happened. So you don't need for take time for read all the 500 and something pages, because it splits that in and then into revenue, fiscal discipline, to borrowing and debt management, all the economic terms then. Now, when you look at that, you go really sadden for say, marine resources fisheries, like for example, in terms of domestic revenue mobilization, in economic terms, we describe on 2 angles how you can mobilize couple for putting a government cover. One, we get what we call renewable rent. Rents now, them money they get from where they sell with natural resources them, or where we do business and transaction on natural resources like a timber, like a fisheries and sand, like a timber for do with diamond, gold, the minerals, and all that stuff that they don't rent because the time people then they sell and then do business, then the tax what they get out of that, they go to a cover. Now, when you look at rent alone, in fact, Botswana they call a green accounting system because they get a mechanism where all the rents there when a tax there or money they win they can sell with natural resources, renewable and non-renewable. then for the one side. I remember very well, and I make I say, I agree with Karim and others that the constitutional review process must be taken serious at any time as they go into the future. Because one of the things where Fodes and Kodem and the RF in particular, during the negotiation process now Lome, in the Lome peace agreement that they emphasized, if I recall, now for establish a special strategic mineral or natural resource commission. And that commission, I was 100% supportive of that. So that commission, they all to the go waiting God Giwi, whether not Sansan, whether not Timber, not Coffee, not Cocoa, you go your way, my bow, actually see more people in the can, then they chop people, then trees, and then stuff, then they fishes and that. Now they are couple day for the go, then we all share by final equity for the Sanko and others will say for put her into education or health sector. So we all benefit from that. Even the student loan scheme they talk about right now, we don't get money for that. So how we have that side, they get a right in terms of negotiating the Lome peace agreement. But wait till happen, the same group, public servant, civil servant, then kill them. By then, I think I remember when they say for this and come for be second vice president for manage the strategy mineral research. By the time they make it within our state house, I man they say that one day na power structure. Okay, then we can mix all two with NIA. The NIA and even GGD or the diamond, gold diamond thing we can put on it. So waiting to happen now. Wait to make how they say this. Lawyer don't take time, the auditor general office take time. It's split that thing, and they say Uncle one. Say, look, with fisheries, all the license, the fish license, then the trawler, then whether they escape, where they find money them. Me working at fisheries 7.5 years, I was fisheries economics. So I know the fines and penalties where then trawler, Chinese, Japanese, Korea, but cook up when they come. The fisheries, he seats them.
Yeah.
You know, then fish land in sites, then they couple all they can. So then pick and say about how many billions has gone astray, they not account for, and they not pay on the consolidated form. You see, then you get other Boku area, then they weigh money they waste, the petroleum tax money, the maintenance, road maintenance fund, where they couple them, the 3% what they pay for any petrol gallon we buy. So there are lots of sources of revenue where they don't account for it, government don't put. To decide for fiscal discipline, wow, that name was past all thing. You know, I mean, I'm not going to read for repeat that again. Wasteful spending in terms of lack of public policy priorities. We don't get side away education sector, health sector. I don't say we don't talk tell about more vaccines. Today with number of people who don't vaccinate and salary not reach 6%. Papa. So how do we protect our health for productivity and wealth creation? A problem. When the whole world affect COVID-19, we they use the money for go dance now. Adam called na Dubai will be the go dance. We they care who can go and you know. How can it? Which head of state will you see go to expo church under COVID-19? That's what I mean by lack of public policy priorities and emotional and psychologically. Where we all be the hide for the COVID not see we. Then when they go dance, we say they attract whose kind of foreign direct investment who they attract and inside of it. This is exactly what China Bar and others have described as wasteful spending. So it's nothing but the single treasury account exposed so much, you know, to the extent that we are not managing our macroeconomic and fiscal policy well. So for us in our party and on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone, we're very much happy with the Auditor General come out with a number of strategic issues in terms of our public financial management. But above all, we discourage, say, people that bread and butter, access to staple items, teen and people that this Christmas, you know, go believe, say, I call people, hey, Bobo, where you can't lock my phone first up now, confess now. You know, where I lock my phone up, you know what it mean? Where you don't come out, you don't count on now, you get you fumble them, you don't go decide. If I want you with me, go talk publicly, and I say, I don't want to take Airtel money or Orange. Where people they say, hey, because when you take a boss in the left now village now, you Ghana, they call you, say, that Airtel, you get Airtel money now for send for me now. So you don't get excuse. So me, I can tell people they say, I know one day they operate Airtel money. So I go do it for me because I know the remittances and that. In simple terms, what I try for say access to for people that get access to couple. Now lie, it acts now. Yeah. So I'm saying is most of them money the way the Auditor General's report talk about. If we don't capitalize the commercial banks there, make sure say people then get access and build a community resilient through the small couple that during this COVID-19, then we increase that way there for the help for increased productivity. If I was president, my brother, all in company, they said they fly with her. If I don't use some of them, the way you ask me every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they say, where JPJ, I was like, number that party, if I say, I'm going to farm now, or you're going to Bo or Kenem and that. That's what I should have been doing. I would have had an inward approach to productivity creation rather than flying around to look for. Because in the world of this global health crisis, who say you go say waste man self we get couple, who say they make dollar, then self all seal. Who say they make pound sterling, look the all Sudan and all size seal. So why you don't go the land the way God give you, the little way they get, you plow them back, put even rural urban migration with youth stuff. They say, the president, if I 2-3 week, it don't go upline, no, it don't go to farm, it will be fine. For me, for conclude actually tonight, as they move forward into 2022, I go just one left this before me say the catch of that. One, I look forward to a situation where we will enhance political cooperation at this country. When we enhancing political cooperation, the relationship between political parties, the 17 political parties, is not homogeneous. It's not supposed to be homogeneous per se, but that dialogue and relationship, whether at opposition end or the ruling party, it will be homogeneous. But together, what does that mean? It also means that we political parties them weigh them based on who that know you, whose region you come on, whose party you get, because the issues are there. But you find out, say, most of the northwestern tribes and regions there, tribes there and ethnic groupings there, then linked to one set of political parties or two. The southeastern parties there, then also linked to one set of 1, 2, 3 tribes and region there. So until government deliberately move towards the political leadership of enhanced political cooperation through dialogue and consensus building, it will be very useful for 2020. Because once you enhance political cooperation, the economic aspect will fall into place because people then go understand when you add up where the country not get money, all man go express on resilience. That's number one. Then two, for terms of corruption and the audit report, I feel say we for take the audit report serious, when we see what in Parliament would talk about time, but also part of the thing we go out for recommend is that as they look at the audit report, we find out say 75% of the national public finance, they go through procurement of goods and services. So go like follow see the National Procurement Authority and institutionalizing on procurement accountability oversight mechanism every MDA, so that before passing then they go procure goods and services, civil society, journalists, every opposition, but then for them and then committee, then they make sure so we cut down on the wastages and always in mind. Because I find out say, like what Karim say, I would prefer also we do less to do anti-corruption and then strengthen the procurement policy and make sure that the mechanisms then way for make sure that we tap corruption be as transparent and because when you see Boku people there, even in terms of selection and recruitment of human resources and personnel there, now through procurement. If a procurement, the TOR, the terms of reference are clear, then you go pick your party there or you pick people the way you say that you don't know. That's where the corruption comes in because about state capture. And therefore, I believe say the way forward into the future, we get for strengthening with procurement mechanism and how would they do that. So that side of me go left for day and then say, thank you once more. And as I say, the major weakness we'll get and we will need for address in 2022, now how we'll strengthen political cooperation amongst tribes, amongst regions, among political parties, the media, the journalists, so that we will get a one common national agenda, which will operate based on national interest.
Wow, Dr. Sandy, many thanks, sir. And all the three guests then we get we able for talk tonight, we unfortunately will not be able to forget about it because of poor line. But the three guests them, I can assure Una, and Una self can take them by waiting and see how they conduct themselves, not only tonight, but previously, that these people are national asset and we need to listen to them seriously when they do speak. Fambulen, this is serious. In the final throes of this particular program, we heard Dr. Sandy, they talk about the homogeneity. I mean, the political party, they're not homogeneous. And the need for because there has to be one word. The political struggle is on. The revolution, must be accomplished. It must be achieved. And in doing so, it means people need for come together, pool their resources together, the educated class, the local class, the layman, them, everybody need for come together. So we get leadership. And this is what you will see in people like Dr. Sandi, Karim Ba, for the first time when I talked to him. But I'm so impressed because the brother is so informed. And from now on, definitely I get for Falaram. And I want to make this public notice, say, going further, Dr. Sandi, you get for come back in the early 2000s because there are many issues them we need for talk about. We obviously not a group discussion. At least it will be a one-to-one. Political pluralism, NEC, APA, COPPP, UN, URP, you know, political integration, the judiciary, all the networks them, you know, yeah, of political waiting safe in our country. We need to talk about these things them in earnest, because imagine we now 2022 midterm elections, then council and ward elections, them they are coming, and this is the test of time for the big one in 2023. So it's important. And the same goes to Mr. Karimba. And Karimba, I want to say thank you so much, brother. And I see, just like how you describe yourself like a political and economic activist, even though I not dwell deep into that, but I see all your emblem then at the back of your screen, and they read them and just kind of feel what you stand for. And I hope for engage you more in the near future. I want to say thank you very much to you, Sister Femi Claudius Cole, and Dr. Sandi. And I wish you now all a prosperous new year. Not only Una, but for the entire country. Una, thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you. Good night. Happy New Year, Karim.
Yes, yes. Dr. Sandi, look after yourself. I don't say you didn't enjoy all the organic food them, but I jealous you. But goodbye, sir. Many thanks. Karim, goodbye.
I will tell you people that now you village. Good night.
All right, sir.